discussing about conventional and non-conventional energy sources. Then we have seen a hydroelectric power plant, correct? And we have seen numerical in third session. Okay, so this is we say it is a fourth lecture now. This part we have covered: conventional, non-conventional energy sources, the differences, comparison between them, hydroelectric power plant. Okay, we have seen a numerical based on it. This kind of figure you must draw in exam. This is a block drawing, schematic figure. Okay, this is schematic figure. Seen some advantages and some disadvantages associated with it. Okay, now we'll start for thermal power plant. Okay, when we see the thermal power plant, okay, I think people are joining. I request others to join with your email IDs. VPK domain email ID. Okay, so just a minute. I'll see who is there. Sunil Thomde. Okay. Fine. So thermal power plant in India, about 75% of electricity is generated by thermal power plant. Okay, and you know the efficiency. What is the efficiency? Anyone can type here. What is the efficiency for thermal power plant? So if you know it, you can type. What was the efficiency for hydroelectric power plant? It is almost 80 to 85%, and thermal power plant it is almost 35 to 45 or 49%. Yeah, about 50, not exactly 50. Yes, so that is the efficiency where you are burning coal. Okay, you are burning coal there, gas and diesel. So these things you are burning here, and you get the say steam generation, and then steam is blown over the turbine, where turbines are rotating and generating mechanical rotations. Okay, actually turbines are connected to generators. Those mechanical rotations are converted to connected to generators, and generator will produce the electricity. But once the steam is rotating the turbines, after rotation their task is over. But in order to have a maximum efficiency, we are cooling down the steam. We are converting the steam, and we are sending it to some reservoir again. Okay, some pond will be there, some tank will be there. So we say it is a hot well. In that way, actually, you are increasing the efficiency. So you must remember that, you know, in a cyclic process, efficiency is always higher. Okay, in a cyclic process, efficiency is always higher. And if there is an open loop circuit, I mean open cycle, then efficiency always less. Okay, so that is the issue. And here, that is one kind of advantage that you can recirculate the process. Coal-fired plants around 56%. And this is the principle. So when you write any theoretical answer for any question, okay, so where you need to write when you somebody's asked you what is the I mean write the short note on thermal power plant, then what you'll write first the principle. So principle is here. The thermal energy is available in the steam. It's converted into mechanical energy, correct? And that is used for driving the steam turbines. Steam turbines are coupled with the generators, and hence power is produced. So this is the principle for the thermal power plant. I hope you get it. This is a schematic representation of thermal power plant. Okay, so one can say this is, if you see, this is the turbine. This is the turbine, and I mean, sorry, this is the boiler. This is the boiler. You get just a minute. Okay. So this is a schematic representation of boiler. What you have here is the water tubes. Okay, these pipelines you can see, those are the water tubes. Okay, and somewhere you will be getting the energy from the furnace or heat from the furnace. Okay, so I'll see. You can show this connection actually here. Okay. You can show the connection here. So now understood. I hope you understood this. Now thing is here that there is an economizer, okay, and then there is a superheater. So what is it exactly? I'll erase it so that we'll clear this thing. Okay. So here economizer means when you received heat from the furnace, okay, initially that part is getting heated and converted into superheat. You just when I'm talking to you, you just try to observe the figure, because this is common to all kind of power plants. This is common to all kind of power plants. Okay. Fine. So I'll explain now how it is happening. Economizer is the part of this water tubes. Okay, there will be so many water tubes here. So economizer is part of this. Economizer is always heated by passing flue gases. So furnace is generating some flue gases. Those flue gases are passed, and those the water in the economizer is getting heated, and it is reaching to almost 70 degrees Celsius. Okay, then it is passed to the superheater zone. Okay, superheater zone, where it is converted into say more than 100 degrees Celsius, and you get a steam. That steam is continuously heated, and it is converted into superheated high pressure steam. If you see here, this is simple representation of the boiler drum. Okay, you can show, or if you don't want, you cannot show anyway. Okay, this is optional, but you need to show economizer zone and superheater zone. Okay, this is a simple coils of water tubes. Then superheated steam, which is at high pressure and high temperature, it is carried to the turbine. This is a turbine where steam is expanded. Okay, you mind these words. Steam is expanded. The pressure energy of the steam is given for the rotation of the turbine. Okay, so turbine basically receives the pressure energy of steam, and it will rotate. It will give the mechanical rotations here. After expansion, steam is released to this end. Okay, low pressure steam will be released from the turbine. Turbine task is over. Once you get the rotations here, then generator will produce the electricity, and it will be given to the stations. Okay, distribution stations. Now, what happens to this? Now electricity is produced. Okay, this is fine. This is our interest of area. But in order to increase the efficiency of power plant, we are collecting this low pressure steam. Okay, understood well. This low pressure steam is collected here in the condenser. This is a condenser. So its name is condenser. You must be knowing, and maybe you are analyzing what may be happening here. Condenser, we condenses the steam. Steam will be around these tubes, and what is flowing from this tube is the cooling water, cool water. Cool water may be of 25 to 27 degrees Celsius. It is pumped inside this condenser. It is flowing from this tube. Water is not getting mixed with the steam. Okay, understood well. So this is the steam, cool water flowing from these water tubes, and steam is supplied, or it is in vicinity of these tubes. Steam is getting condensed because of the cool water temperature, and it is collected as a condensate here at the bottom. Okay, so steam is converted into water only, but this water, steam converted water from the steam, this water is different, and this cooling water which is flowing from this water tubes are different. There is a cooling tower. So at the cooling tower base, you have this cool water of, let's say, 25 to 27 degrees Celsius. it is pumped inside the condenser, it is flowing here, it will exchange heat with the steam, and that will be a little bit hot because it is exchanging heat with the steam. Steam is getting cooled, converted into steam water, but at the same time steam is heating to this cool water. Now this water is at 45 or 55 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Celsius, that is pumped here at the top of the cooling tower, and when it reaches to top of the cooling tower, it will be sprinkled. Okay, there are some small nozzles, from small nozzles that will be sprinkled, and it is coming down. So when it is coming down with the gravity, it will be getting cooled and it is settled back. So again it is a circulated. So this is in circulation. There is a recirculating pump at the base of the cooling tower. It will pump the water and it is sending it to the condenser. What is happening to the condenser? So low pressure steam is coming in the condenser, it is getting cooled because of the cool water in from the cooling tower, and it is settled here as a condensate. The condensate is again pumped back. Okay, condenser is again pumped back and it is sent to the boiler. Now there may be always problem with the water capacity. I mean, how much water you are sending into boiler. So instead of direct, you are sending into this boiler with the help of this feed pump. Okay, what you have here is the hot well. So I'll show you what is the hot well. So instead of this directly supplying to the feed pump, you supply this condensate water. Okay, this is the condensate water. You supply it is the hot well. This is a hot well, some kind of reservoir, hot well. Okay, and you pump the water from the same hot well. Okay, so you can get, this is the hot well. I can write for you, but say I have mouse, so it's quite difficult to write here. Hot well. This is a hot well. So you just supply here, and then makeup water will be supplied by the feed pump. This is a feed pump. Okay, this is a symbol of feed pump. So feed water is supplied here in the boiler. Understood? So this is the thing, and by this way you get a little bit extra efficiency. Otherwise you could have got only 20%. So that's why you can get up to more than 35% with the help of this. So what you have in the boiler is the economizer. Okay, this is the pointer. Okay, this is economizer. Then superheater. Okay, there you actually convert the superheated high pressure steam, of course high temperature steam. It will be blown over the turbine. Turbines, in the turbine, steam is expanded and pressure energy is utilized to rotate the turbine at high speed. It is coupled with the generator. Electricity is produced. Then after expansion, high pressure steam is converted into low pressure steam. It is blown towards the, it is sent to the condenser. In the condenser, it is cooled. Okay, it is cooled and converted into condensate. How it is getting cooled? Because there is a recirculating pump here, which is supplying cool water inside the condenser. So the cool water is exchanging heat with the steam. Steam is getting cooled and converted into water. Cool water in the pipe is getting heated, and that is a little bit hot, around 60 to 70 degrees Celsius or more than 45 degrees Celsius. So that is now it is sprinkled at the top of the from the top of the cooling tower. So when it is coming down, it is getting cooled. Okay, so this way it is the thermal power plant. Now we'll see the advantages. What may be the advantages? You can analyze some advantages. Fuel is cheaper, right? Because we have a little abundant stock of coal. Okay, so fuel is abundant. I mean cheaper. Then less space is required as compared with the hydroelectric power plant. Okay, here fuel, what you see, it is a coal. We are considering coal, and when we are considering coal as a fuel, then it is cheaper. Less space is required as compared with the hydroelectric power plant, of course, right? Then cheaper in production, in cost, cheaper production cost, initial cost compared with the diesel power plant. Transmission cost are reduced as these plants can be set up near the industry where actually application is there, okay, where you want the immediate electricity supply. So transmission cost is less. Otherwise, hydroelectric power plant you need to set somewhere outside the city, okay, in the hilly area, and then there will be losses through the transmission. Now, again, some disadvantages associated with this. So that is cost of plant is increases with the increase in the temperature and pressure. Maintenance and operating cost is high because there are so many flue gases. Sometimes ash or the dust is it is stuck to the, it is sticking to the water tubes, and as it is sticking to the water tubes, water inside the tubes is not I mean exchanging heat at 100% efficiency. So we need to clean it again and again. So there is a manhole to the boiler always. So people can enter there, the maintenance people, and clean all the water tubes and accessories about of the boiler, and those will be maintained. So maintenance is required actually continuous. Long time is required for erecting and putting it into action. Okay, installation required too much time. The plant installation, large quantity of water is required, okay, not as like a hydroelectric power plant, but of course large part, because water is converted into steam, and that steam is actually the working fluid or working substance for the power plant. Coal and ash handling poses serious problem, right? Pollution. So that was about the thermal power plant, and then we have some pollution, solution on the pollution as well. So that is then we are shifting to the nuclear power plant. And when we are talking about nuclear power plant, of course, you know, there is a radioactive material, nuclear material, which will generate the heat. Somehow we are using that energy and we are converting water or some coolant into steam. Steam is blown over the turbine. Turbine is running. A turbine is connected to the generator. Generator will produce the electricity. And in order to increase the efficiency, that we are keeping in closed loop, so that efficiency will be little bit higher. So before going to actual nuclear power plant, you can see the available nuclear power plants in India. Okay, so one is in UP. If you see, that is running at 440 megawatt capacity. Okay, second one is in Rajasthan around, and it is having maximum capacity. If you see, 2580 megawatt capacity. Okay, third one is in Gujarat, 1840 megawatt, where fourth is in Tarapur, Maharashtra, famous one. Then fifth one is in the Kaiga, Karnataka, 880. And next one, the last one, you say it is in Tamil Nadu, 940 megawatt. So around now we are running around 6 nuclear power plants. There are in under construction few, but maybe government is not starting them. So this is an VPKBIT is visiting Tarapur and Kaiga this power plant regularly. Okay, so if you you will be in electrical or mechanical engineering next time, maybe you can visit these power plants. Okay, so we'll see what is the actually this working principle of the nuclear power plant. So you know the chain reaction, when we consider the uranium as a fuel, so there is a kind of chain reaction where neutrons are splitting the nucleus and new neutrons are coming. Those new neutrons again striking on the nucleus, and then there is a splitting of nucleus. Understood? So you know the nucleus, there is always proton and neutron present. So in the vicinity of this nuclear reactors, I mean nuclear materials, there will be always free neutrons moving. Okay, free neutrons, slowly moving neutrons. Those neutrons actually bombarding on the, those are striking on the nucleus, and when those are striking on the nucleus, nucleus is getting splitted. When nucleus is getting splitted, few more number of neutrons are coming out, liberated, and then those are striking on the new nuclei. This is nothing but the fission reaction. This is called fission reaction. And as per the equation of Einstein, that is E is equal to mc square. If you see the splitting, mass is getting splitted. You see here, this first nucleus is getting splitted, and when neutron is striking on it, it is splitted in multiple, nuclei. So mass of this splitted nuclei, it will be less. Cumulative mass will be less compared to the original nuclei. Okay. Though mass is less, it is splitted at the rate of say c square. That is the speed of light. So at this rate of speed of light, it is splitted, and then you can get the energy out of this equation. That is half mc square mass into velocity square. And what is the velocity of light? It is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So you can understand, though the mass is very less, the product is very high, and that is the energy. So, okay, this is the fission reaction. And this is a setup for nuclear power plant, if you see. So this is the nuclear reactor. Of course, it is having the shield. You have to, concentrate on this reactor. So you have the fuel rods like thorium 232. Okay, these are the isotopes, right? Uranium 235 or plutonium 239. We are using uranium. Okay, uranium 235. Though we are very rich in thorium, we are using uranium 235. So this is having shield, okay, lead shield, the nuclear reactor. And inside the reactor, you will have fuel rods. Then you will have the moderators. If you see this, faint shade color, and then you have the control rods. Okay, only important things you see here: fuel rods, that is actual nuclear material, then moderator, and then control rods. This is in the nuclear reactor. And actually, when there is a reaction, there is so much heat here. So that heat is actually carried by the coolant. Okay, so there is a coolant. Always there is a coolant. So coolant will carry that heat to the heat exchanger. This is the heat exchanger, another heat exchanger, where coolant is getting heated and it is exchanging heat in the heat exchanger with another fluid. And what may be the fluid? That is a water. So water is there inside the heat exchanger. When coolant is coming with certain temperature, it is actually boiling the water, and that water is converted into again superheated steam. Okay, superheated steam. That superheated steam, high pressure, high temperature steam, is blown over the turbine. This is a symbol of turbine. This is common to more than one power plant. Okay, so this turbine is again coupled with the generator. So generator produces electricity. Now after expansion of the steam is coming to the condenser, where the steam is converted into water. That is nothing but condensate. You say it is condensate. That condensate is again pumped back to the heat exchanger. So this is a cyclic process, and that's why you get a efficiency quite higher. And what is the efficiency that you get here? It's maximum or about 33 to 37% only. See the efficiency in nuclear power plant, 37%. In thermal power plant, it is around 48%. And in hydroelectric power plant, it is around 85%. So that is the efficiency that you get. It is because of the conversion, energy conversion. Okay, there are certain losses. So like here, you see plutonium, uranium, and thorium can be these fuel rods. Then coolant, if you see, you may be asking what is the coolant then? The coolant can be CO2 or helium or liquid materials like say sodium or liquid potassium and their alloys. So that will be in the liquid, okay, liquid or gaseous state, that is getting heated. Okay, we are saying them as a coolant because those will be at lower temperature, and when you are getting you are hitting them in the nuclear reactor actually, so those are absorbing all the energy and giving it to the water inside the heat exchanger. Okay, and this water is converted to steam. I am again repeating this because this is the main concept. you will be having here kind of furnace actually in other power plants like thermal power plant, where that heat is utilized to convert water into steam. That is the basic thing. And what you have the type of turbine here is the steam turbine. Okay, steam turbine. Then what is a moderator? Moderator is basically carbon or heavy water or beryllium. This is the moderator. Now we'll ask, sir, why there is a control rod and why there is this kind of moderator. Okay, this control rods are borons or the cadmium tubes. Material for these control rods is the boron or the cadmium tube. Okay, understood. So actually the control rods are absorbing the neutrons present in the nuclear reactor. You know what is the fission reaction? Fission reaction is that in this reactor, in the vicinity of these control fuel rods, there will be free neutrons. So those free neutrons are striking on the nucleus of the nuclear material, and the nucleus is splitting into nuclei, multiple nuclei. When it is splitting, it is generating a huge amount of energy or heat. When that is splitted, new number of neutrons are produced. So those new neutrons, again, those will be striking on the new nuclei. So it is continuous process. It's a fission reaction. So in order to control this reaction, we required control rods and moderator. What is function of control rod? Those are actually absorbing the neutrons. Actually absorbing the neutrons. So when number of neutrons are absorbed by the control rods, automatically reaction will be in control. Okay, that way you are controlling the reaction. Where moderator is actually slowing down the rate of or the speed of neutron which is bombarding on the nuclei. Moderator क्या करता है? It is slowing down the speed of the neutron which is bombarding on the nuclei. So moderator is actually slowing down the rate, and that way it is controlling the reaction. Control rods are absorbing the neutrons. That way it is controlling the reaction. Understood about the nuclear power plant? There's thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, then your hydroelectric power plant or other power plants. Those are in theory coming for almost, yes.
So fusion nuclear reaction also generate energy. So why don't we use fusion reaction in nuclear?
Because this is fission reaction is quite easy comparatively to control. Okay, it's quite easy to control here in the reactor. Okay, it is in controlled chambers. That's why it is called as a reactor. This is called as a reactor because it is everything is controlled. This control rods, how much you need to expose to this near this reaction zone, that you can control. Based on that, number of neutrons you can absorb. So everything is in control condition. And if you talk about the fusion, then it is quite difficult to control. Okay, it's very difficult and it's not possible. And this is also risky. Though it's a nuclear power plant, this is also risky. But we have some control measures there, so we can get the energy. We can get the adequate energy. We can convert it into steam, and then we can run our power turbines. Okay, so that's why fission we are using here for the uranium, with the uranium. Okay, understood? And you need to remember in the reactor there are control rods and moderators along with the coolant. Coolant is very important because this is the working fluid which will carry the heat. Okay, otherwise there is the reaction. Sometimes it is uncontrolled reaction. Sometimes there is leakage. There are accidents. So we are avoiding those, okay, with the help of this moderator, control rods, okay, and coolant is also, that should be of good quality. So that is about the nuclear power plant. Couple of advantages we'll see. Yes.
Sir, in the nuclear power plant, you told something about boron.
Boron, yes, boron and cadmium tubes. This control rod material is of boron or cadmium. That is the material which will absorb the neutrons. When you are striking on the nucleus, okay, new neutrons are striking on nucleus, so many neutrons will be generated again when there is a splitting of nuclei. So those are, when before striking you are absorbing them. That's the use of control rod. And what is the material for control rod is the boron or cadmium tube. Okay, it's just okay. So